Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, welcome back for another edition of Lights, Camera, Rant. And this episode, we've got a lot to get through because there has been a lot. So this is obviously a weekly podcast. And so far, in the past 7 days, holy shit, what has happened? And I can't wait to talk to you guys about. It is an absolute game changer of news, which I feel like the gaming community is still processing even now because what is going to be the fallout is the $1 million question. But we'll get into that later, which on top of this episode, I've also got my review for Peacemaker and the latest episode of Boba Fett. But as you guys know, we always dive into the latest news first, so you guys are up to date and ready for what's coming out. So let's start off the bat. So we've got is Chicken Run 2 and Wallace and Gromit has been announced by Netflix. So for anyone of those obviously 2000s kids or even earlier, you would have loved Chicken Run, the stop motion movie, which is loosely based on the old movie The Great Escape, but obviously with chickens. So Netflix has announced the fact they're making a long-awaited sequel, which is meant to be coming out in 2023. So it will be 23 years since that last one. That is a massive gap. Yet that is not the longest gap we have seen in the movie industry from sequels. I think the gap between Tron and Tron Legacy is about 30 years, roughly, give or take. But look, I'm very excited for that because I love the first Chicken Run. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it was pretty funny. And I was very surprised to see the fact that it had been announced because I was like, I just assumed it was just going to be a one-off and let it be done. And that same news, they've also announced a new Wallace and Gromit movie made by the same creators, and that's slated for 2024. So Chicken Run 2 for 2023 and Wallace and Gromit for 2024. Now, the original Chicken Run, that came out obviously in 2000. That only had a budget of $45 million, and it made $224 million at the box office. So that is definitely a win. That's definitely a plus. And you can see why the fact that they've greenlighted a sequel. Guess obviously, creators can take time when they want to make a sequel. But look, I can't wait for this to come out. It's gonna be real. I hope it's the same kind of vibe. Some actors are returning from the original one, which should be really good. And yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun because I've had a few people talk to me about saying the fact they're excited for Chicken Run because it's been so long, and it's a childhood movie like Atlantis or Treasure Planet. Same kind of time frame. Also, I do have to say this. I should have said this first. R.I.P. Meatloaf. Unfortunately, this past week he has passed away, which it's really, it's quite sad. This year is really not started off too well between Betty White, Bob Saget, Meatloaf. Like, all right. 2022, calm down. What do you don't need to, knock all these people off straight away. You can spread them out. But yeah, unfortunately, R.I.P. Meatloaf. Great musician, great singer. And obviously some massive 80s, 70s classics. I wouldn't do anything for love except for that. And Paradise by the Dashboard. And my favorite, Bat Out of Hell. But yeah, my wishes go out to his friends, his family, and his pets. Also news, I do have personalized news, is that my second video review on YouTube is now live. We are looking at Evil Genius 2 on the PlayStation 5. So that's definitely up on YouTube. You should definitely go check that out. But if you obviously don't want to look at YouTube, obviously if you've seen on this channel, then we do have the audio version only if you just want to listen to it on the go. But definitely go check that out. Definitely like it, and definitely comment if you did like the game, didn't like the game, or you think I'm just really bad and think I should just stick to casting behind a mic. But look, I completely understand. But let's keep going. So now this, I could not believe this happened, because I was like, really? Like, this just, you just got into it. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, has been delayed again. Yes, has been delayed again due to a COVID outbreak on set. And last week, I just announced the fact that there was reported the fact that they're going back into production after the injury with Shuri. But no, look, they've gone back, and now it's been delayed again. And it's really bringing up a question in saying the fact, is this going to meet its November 11th this year deadline? We don't actually know how far the filming is through. So, are they going to actually meet that deadline? Is it going to be a little bit rushed with everything going on? Because obviously everything across the board already got delayed due to COVID. Everything got pushed back. We were meant to get Doctor Strange 2 was meant to obviously be earlier, which I'm kind of gutted about, but understandably. But it just sucks because of the fact that I wish that obviously everyone's set very well, and as well as Shuri on her shoulder from an injury. But I just hope the fact they do meet their deadline and they don't have to cut corners for it to come out, because obviously with the state that MCU is in right now, everything's got to kind of hit that window for everything else to follow, or it can mess something up. They kind of go away with it with Black Widow and Captain Falcon and all that, which one should come out of the other. But I hope they go back to production soon, and I hope everyone is safe. Also, moving to gaming-wise, PlayStation, it's a wrap. Their version of calculating all your gameplay, your hours, how many times you spent, what's your most popular games. That's currently live right now on, obviously, the PlayStation PSN website that you can go look up, so you can see how much time you have actually lost last 2021, and what is your most popular game. What I always find is nearly 8 times out of 10 every time I do it, I'm always kind of surprised to see what my number one game is. I'm like, really? I played that many hours of that game? Really? And then some other games it's a little bit higher. I'm like, I swear I have played that game more, yet it's always very interesting to find out. Same thing when you do the Spotify wrap, you see what your top songs are. And what's really cool, I found out you can also do a podcast wrap as well, so you can see everything you've done in the past year. However, mine was only, because this podcast only started in June, I only had about 6 months, obviously. So I'm very curious to see what I'll see in an entire year. But that's definitely that's definitely live right now on the PlayStation Network. So if you haven't already, go check that out. Also, we got the first poster and teaser for the Lord of the Rings TV show, The Rings of Power. So we did get a poster and we did get a teaser of the opening credits, which looks beautiful and completely shocked me, the fact that it's not CGI, it's all real. So if you've already seen it, I hope you're shocked, because when I looked, I was like, oh yeah, that's normal CGI. And when I looked at obviously more on the deep web, and it was actually announced the fact, nope, it's all real, and you can actually go see the behind the scenes photos and video of how they made it, which is fantastic. So that particular show is being launched on Amazon Prime this year in September the 2nd. And it's being reported that this is one of the most expensive TV shows ever developed for television, which is going to be just mind-boggling to think about that. Because you got to remember the fact that Lord of the Rings, obviously it's heavy CGI, so greenlighting something like this is just going to be immense. And I really hope the fact that it does very well, because the fact that for everyone involved, the amount of time and money. They definitely put it into hard work, and they put it in the right places. Because even now, the CGI in Lord of the Rings, even though it's not that old, it still holds up beautifully. And they did fantastic. It makes me all think that this show, as well as, to be honest with you, between Lord of the Rings and the Halo TV show, I'm kind of more excited for the Halo TV show that's coming out on Paramount Plus. Meaning that these new shows coming out, because I'm definitely all down for the new Halo and Master Chief, because that looks absolutely stunning. And if you haven't gone and seen the new trailer for the Halo TV show, stop everything, go check it out. It is absolutely stunning. But yes, that's Lord of the Rings TV show, poster and trailer. As I've always said, everything I've mentioned right now so far and everything I'm going to mention is all on my Facebook and Instagram page. So definitely go check that out. Definitely give it a like so you keep you guys updated and what we're going to be talking about more in upcoming episodes. So this next little news, which I thought was fantastic, and I thought, the future is now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So Space Entertainment Enterprise, CEEC. So this production company is the company behind Tom Cruise's new upcoming movie that's being shot in space. Which unfortunately, I do know that he was really hoping to be the first movie shot in space, but however, there is a Russian film that they did it first, and they're releasing a couple of months prior before Tom Cruise's movie, which I'm pretty sure he's probably a bit filthy about. So what they actually want to do is they want to set their sights, or they have set their sights, on the ISS Axion station to create and host new sports and entertainment arena on the space station. And they set their sights that this will be fully operational in December 2024. That is absolutely mind-boggling. The fact that this is definitely futuristic stuff. Sure, it's only sports and entertainment. However, you imagine where are you playing this week? We're playing in Manchester, we're playing in Paris, and we're playing in orbit. So we're going to make sure we're going to have time for all that because that will be in orbit. That's going to be a thing. Obviously, depending on all the little things, but imagine that. Imagine any sport, depending on how the arena is situated, could possibly go up there for a special exhibition match. Depending on the space and everything, I can already see Dana White looking at this going, "Yep, we're going to space, boys. You're going to be fighting in zero gravity." I want to see this. This is going to be money, print money. We're going to space, boys, for the next UFC fight. To be one of a kind, and it's I can print money. It's going to be very interesting how that's all going to come about, and it's fully exciting me. This stuff excites me because the fact this is futuristic kind of stuff, and as much as I enjoy history, looking at the past, I'm like, yeah, it's the past has been done, but what are we doing future-wise? And not to mention that, sports and entertainment, what other movies are we be shot in there to get the zero gravity effect and stuff like that? All kinds of, obviously going to be a lot of space movies, but it will just open so many doors if done right, which I'm sure it will. I have no doubt, probably a little bit of doubt because it's space. But it's going, if they achieve it, it's going to be opening a massive door, and the floodgates that's going to happen from this. Obviously network deals, everything that's going to come into this is just going to be mind-boggling. So definitely stay tuned, guys, because of the fact that this is going to be really cool. And definitely, if you're a nerd, or anything space, this is going to be a lot of fun. Obvious reasons. And what we also got was, I did say in my last episode, is I was right. So Moon Knight is the first Marvel TV show kicking off this year with its March 30th release date. So if you're a Marvel or a DC fan, regardless of which ship you're with, you're going to be very treated in March this year because we get both the Batman and we get Moon Knight, which the Batman has now confirmed. Obviously, it's 2 hours and 55 minutes, which makes it the longest Batman film, and as well as the Batman theme has been released on Spotify as well. So, look, I'm going to mention this about Batman because of the fact that before we get into Moon Knight, I'm going to mention a bit of that. Someone came up to me the other day and we're talking, and he was like, Leo, I've listened to your podcast, and you don't, for being a Batman fan, having a Batman tattoo, you don't sound very excited for the new Batman movie. Not to mention it looks, the trailers, it looks really good. Is it just because Robert Pattinson's in it? The fact that it's going for 3 hours, obviously more Batman. So why aren't you really excited for it? And when I was talking to this friend, I'm like, look, it's not. It's not just because of Robert Pattinson. Obviously, any new Batman, there's always that little, safety chest on how it's going to go. Because obviously it's the first time wearing the cowl and everything. A trailer can make anything. A trailer can make a shit look fantastic, and then you go to the theater and you're like, this is literally just the shit. You know, that's it. Not even like, oh, this is the shit. No, this is absolute garbage. And you always have that reserve things every time, you know, when Don's a character in film that has been played more than once. You know, it's the same thing's going to happen with the fact when someone takes the role of Wolverine. You're going to have that reserve. You're going to be like, nah, I don't know if I like this. You know, obviously I'll hold my judgment. But like Robert Pattinson, like I really hope he does do a really good job. But the reason why I'm not overly excited for this film and why I'm more excited for Michael Keaton in the Flashpoint is because of the fact that like let's have a look at the filmography of the Batman. You know, we got Michael Keaton as Batman, and he was, I'd say, a very established Batman. Still young, but still established Batman. And you know, those two movies. And then we got Val Kilmer, still established. And then obviously that's a sequel. Somehow that's a sequel. I don't call that a sequel at all to that. It's first two movies. And then we got George Clooney, which is still established, and then we got the Dark Knight trilogy, and then we saw Batman come from from the ground up, becoming Batman. Because you got to remember that Batman Begins, Batman actually isn't Batman. Actually, in the screen like half and a bit more of the movie. You don't actually see Batman. You only see Bruce Wayne, and you're just learning everything about him. And then we obviously got the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and then we've got Ben Affleck, which was a very seasoned, taken from the Dark Knight Returns comic, which you should definitely read as a fantastic comic. You should definitely read the Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One, and we go more seasoned Batman. But the thing is, like, this is obviously meant to be Batman Year 2. I do understand we're getting the Riddler, we're getting, more the Catwoman, and we're getting the Penguin. It just feels to me like, I feel like it's an area that doesn't need to be done. Obviously I'm clamoring for a Batman Beyond movie, but I feel like, they've already done, like, you've already seen on screen a Batman Year 1 and Year 2. Like, you could have done something different, like, it's part of me that still wishes they went ahead with Ben Affleck's idea. Actually, no, I still do. With like him in a movie like with Deathstroke versing each other. That's different. That's that's different. That's a little bit new. Still in that kind of world. Yet we're getting this. There's a lot of hype for the Batman movie, but the reason I'm not excited for it is the fact I feel like it's been done. We've already seen the character in this situation. It's just kind of like a rehash. Yes, new elements. Yes, new take on characters, but still kind of like same chessboard. Not to mention, I've listened to the new Batman theme, and I'm just not excited. I'm like, really? You listen to this, and some people are like, this is fantastic. I'm like, really? This is fantastic. You're calling the Batman theme fantastic. Alright, let's go back. Let's go listen to Danny Elfman's theme with Michael Keaton. Let's listen to, Christian Bale's Batman theme. That all sound really fantastic instead of this half-baked thing that only goes for 6 minutes, and the only interesting part is in the last minute. No joke. Go listen to it. But yeah, that's why. So to my friend, we have a bit of argument both back and forth. He's like, you're just pandering to the past, embracing the future. And I was like, no. I'm all for the future. Just new future. That's what I'm excited for. But sorry to go off track. Let's go back to Moon Knight. So yes, Oscar Isaac, we got the first trailer and poster for Moon Knight, which looks really cool. And look, I am loving this because the fact every time a lot of people are like Marvel's gonna be dead after Endgame. That is absolute horseshit. Marvel is still, it's like the train is still full powered. It's still going full steam ahead because the fact this is what I do like about Marvel is the fact that they don't some people are like, oh, the movies are a lot of the same. Like yes and no. Because the fact that Marvel is still trying to do something different every time. Like Kevin Feige still wants to bring you something different every time a new show or a new movie comes out. And this Moon Knight looks fantastic. CGI on point. You know, it looks good and it's different. It's different in the vibe that I'm getting like for like WandaVision. You know, the fact that you're like, oh, okay, this is different. This is where, you know, where this is going to go. You know, obviously, you know, Oscar Isaac's character is the fact that he's having a sleep problem, multiple personalities, what's going on, and obviously we get Moon Knight, duh. But it looks different. It looks something different. Like, you know, there's a part of me besides, you know, obviously the character of Moon Knight, you could always look at that as any type of TV show besides Marvel. You know, if I showed this one, do you think it's Marvel? Some people go, nah, is this something else? You know, it looks really good and it still fits in that this is different. And it makes me wonder, is this going to have the same effect as Wanderers? This is different, but this is fantastic. And this, you know, hits the ball straight at the park to get the ball running for this year. So only Moon Knight has been announced. So obviously, you know, as we get closer to the date, you know, She-Hulk and everything else will follow. Because apparently also I did see a rumor is that both Secret Wars with Samuel L. Jackson and What If Season 2 has apparently either been pushed back from this year's slate or has been taken off the slate looking at 2023, which makes me wonder if that's still because of the COVID pandemic, which is obviously still going on, but things are getting like slightly easier, slightly harder. But Moon Knight, definitely go check out the trailer. This looks really good. It looks really different, which I'm all for, boy. They're all for, because there isn't many things. Actually, I can't think of one thing where I've gone where Marvel's announced. I'm like, oh, really? You doing that? Oh, or watch the trailer and gone, oh, this looks boring. Yeah, this isn't. No. Every single time Marvel brings out a trailer, I'm like, I'm excited. It's different. Take my money. Why can't I see it now? And obviously going through all those emotions. Yet when I see a DC movie, I'm like, well, it looks like trash. You want to go see it? Sure. Oh wait, I can wait for that. But yes, we got the trailer. So this is what I mean. Like, a lot happened the past week. So before we get into two reviews, the biggest news of the past week, which, you know, is the reason for this particular episode's name, you know, either console wars or content wars, is because of the fact that Microsoft have made a grand acquisition of Activision and Blizzard for $70 billion. Before I keep going on, you gotta remember the fact that the gaming community is a $1 billion business. You can make more money in the gaming industry with, you know, a hit franchise than you can make with any film ever. You have to remember the fact that Grand Theft Auto 5 has made more money than the highest grossing movie of all time, about 2 to 3 times over. Even more. So Grand Theft Auto 5, whatever money Rockstar has paid in to develop that game, they've received that back nearly 50 times back. So this is $1 million franchise, $1 billion industry, which, yes, Microsoft have purchased, you know, Activision and Blizzard, which is massive. And the thing is, the fact that, like, when you're looking at this, there is the reason why this is a massive shock is, what does this mean? Because they've got now Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Tony Hawk Pro, Crash, Spyro, you know, they've got Warcraft, StarCraft, Overwatch, Diablo, you know, Candy Crush, yeah, they could have that, you know. They have all of these massive titles now currently in their possession. So, you know, it's, why have a console war when you can have a content war? You know, a lot of people were like, you know, we thought the console wars were ending. You know, it feels like, you know, Microsoft have just ignited this. I don't think they have. I don't think Microsoft are looking to start console war again. I think this is more like, you know, this is like, I'm not saying a console war, but this is a content war. How much can they push out? How much can they give the fans? You know, at one point, it was very, very truly thought, that Sony had won. Sony, here's your trophy, carry on. But right now, Microsoft purchased here, and Microsoft also purchasing, obviously, Fallout series last year or the year before as well. So they've done some massive purchases, and a lot is now in their court. So regarding anything existing at the moment, from my understanding, from searching the deep web, any current contract deals that were with Sony for PlayStation, that they still have to honor that, because obviously if they break that contract, they're going to lose a shit ton of money, because Sony's going to want to take a bit of that, beautiful, beautiful money. So they can't, or they can, but you wouldn't do it. So, but they're still going to hold their contracts. But after that, it's kind of free game, depending, well, that was no pun intended. It's going to be kind of free game of what they're going to do. Like, meaning as, are these all going to be Xbox exclusive? Is Microsoft going to absolutely drown Sony? Actually, not drown. That's probably not the right. Are they going to make them starve? Are they going to starve Sony? There's a lot that's going to happen. I have no doubt that for the Xbox, sales have just skyrocketed through the roof, because the fact that the amount of stuff that you go get on Xbox, and also as well as all these titles, like the Xbox Pass, like that's going to blow up with all of these titles now. Any of this. So a lot of people are going to go to Xbox now for all this. So Microsoft have absolutely just roundhouse kicked Sony in the mouth and was like, we're going to talk tomorrow and you're going to be coming back to me. Like, there's just, what the fallout from this is massive. Everyone's theorizing what is going to happen. The silver lining out of this entire thing, from reading this, seeing everything that's going on, what's going to happen, is the fact that we know the fact that all current deals are still going to happen. B, obviously, they've just done the acquisition at this stage. They're probably still trying to do all the funniest. Probably the same thing would happen when Disney bought Fox. Like, all the theories went up in the wall, but they still have to organize all the paperwork, all the fun stuff before they can start developing or saying what they want to do with everything. But Xbox CEO did say to. Did tweet the fact that he did say that all current deals are the same. So for everyone with Sony, don't stress. Nothing's changing on that point at this stage. All games currently coming out, everything will still be on PlayStation, Xbox. So you don't have to worry about that. So you don't have to buy an Xbox right now. It's not happening tomorrow. You have time. But the big two things that from this that I do kind of do happen is A, I hope the fact that Xbox looks at the current Activision with Call of Duty and going, all right, we're not going to do, all right, what we're going to do is you guys are all going to get more than 2 years to develop these games. So the fact we're not pumping out every year, we are going to have a space here of Call of Duty. Because that's what I feel like Call of Duty needs. It needs, I understand it's $1 billion franchise. Why would you sleep on it? But the need for a new Call of Duty isn't there. No one's clamoring for it because everyone knows you're still going to get one regardless. There is no big announcement anymore of Call of Duty because you're just expecting, yeah, cool. All right, I'll throw my money at it, And, are we going to get, I have no doubt we're going to get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. But when's that going to announce? Because, Vanguard was shit. That was a giant pile of crap. So that's the thing is, I feel like they need to give a whole year's break of Call of Duty. Let these developers really sink in and develop these games and have the time and don't feel the stress. Because I was just reporting a couple of weeks ago how the fact that, there was the fact that the whole thing with Vanguard was going to be crap and Activision was like, no, we still need to meet our demand. We're not giving you the break. Have a look at it. It's awful. So was Battlefield. It was awful as well. What's happening to these franchises. But that's one thing I do also hope, including, now this is what I really like, is the fact that they can revisit old franchises that have been laid dormant, that Activision have done nothing with, and, no new ideas to the table. like a new new Guitar Hero. Build a new Guitar Hero from the ground up. That's a great franchise, but you need to put the heart into it. And most of all, which I'm praying that does happen, but I kind of doubt it will, is the fact that Xbox will look at this and go, you know what? Let's make Simpsons Hit and Run remaster from the ground up. Yes, please. Thank you, sir. That's what a lot of people would like. You want to get in the good graces of everybody, announce that as the first franchise you're going to pump out Xbox, and I'll buy your Xbox straight away. But then again, I've already bought an Xbox, I just haven't bought a new one. But that's what I really hope, is that they do revisit these old franchises, like a new Burnout game. New Burnout, new Guitar Hero, new Simpsons Hit and Run. Like, these games, we did get Burnout Paradise, which was fantastic. But, build these games to the ground up. Like, take the template, scrap everything away, and build up. This is what we want to do. But yeah, I'm going to definitely going to be reporting on this and every little thing that's coming out about this, but it is massive. So get ready, and it's going to be one wild ride. Microsoft currently right now have all the chips at the moment for on the game board. At the moment, they have the most. Sorry, not all the chips. They have the most of the chips now, and the Fallout is going to be one hell of a thing. But as I said, I don't believe it's going to be a console wars. It's going to be a content wars. Sony and Microsoft? What are you going to pump out? And obviously, the small child in the back that pipes out now and then. Nintendo, yeah, hello, Nintendo. You're still there. People still care about you. But let's look at the main people with Xbox and Sony. But yeah, guys, that was massive. And look, let's get on to the 2 reviews I got for you guys. So what we got last week was the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker, starring John Cena. This is the spin-off from the Suicide Squad, where he's recruited from a special Black Ops team. He survived a little gunshot to the neck. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Suicide Squad, which you should. It's really funny and it's really good, and it's a lot better than the trash that was 2016 version or movie. That was bad. That was very bad. But Peacemaker episode 1, 2, and 3 has come out, and we also have 4 now. And look, I'm not gonna lie, this has got James Gunn all over it. Obviously, he wrote it and directed. Obviously, he's gonna have all his fingerprints. But I have to give it, the music in the show is fantastic. It is great. Go on Spotify, you listen to Spotify. It's the same kind of thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. That man knows music and exactly where to put it. So this particular show, obviously we do see the fact that he is being recruited for Black Ops. And they're hunting down with a team some recurring characters from Suicide Squad for butterflies that apparently go up in your head and trying to do something we really don't know a whole lot at this moment because they're keeping it hush and hush. But so far, the music is fantastic. There is a musical number at the very start, the intro, a whole musical number with the entire cast. I thought that was actually quite funny. And John Cena does a fantastic job. You feel for this character half and half. You're like, you're kind of a dick and a piece of shit, but you're also kind of sad and I feel for you. Vigilante, his sidekick hero, is funny as all hell, and nearly, I would say, he's the MVP of the show. He's hilarious every time he's on screen. And James Gunn has done a fantastic job with these first 4 episodes. So this is 8-episode series on Binge. Obviously for international, it's HBO Max. But I am loving this show. So this actually surprised me. Because I was very curious to see how it would do, because I didn't really... John Cena did good in Suicide Squad, but I'm still sour the fact that he killed Rick Flag. I like Rick Flag. Everyone liked Rick Flag. He was the only one who really got Harley Quinn. And you stabbed him, you piece of shit. But besides being sour, I was a little bit nervous to see how this would go, but this has been in my expectations. I'm actually really enjoying it for being the type of show it is. And it's got a lot of funny moments. It's obviously MA, it's crude. They don't hold back on anything. And so if you really like the Suicide Squad, definitely move on to watching this. This is really funny, and action's on point, as well as the CGI holds up wonderfully. And just watching Vigilante talk and what everything he does on screen is hilarious. And I love there was this the last episode. There's this old man, his neighbor, that keeps giving him shit every time he goes to his dad's house. And he's like, what kind of you must be a supervillain because you're killing people. He's like, I know, Batman doesn't kill people. And then John Cena's character Peacemaker was like turns around, he's like, no, he doesn't kill people. But about all the collateral damage from releasing the Joker and the Riddler every time, like how much blood's on his hands. That's actually a really good conversation to have. How much blood is on Batman's hands because he lets all these people out. Because he's like, the people I burst stay in the ground 6 feet under so they don't hurt anybody else. So it's a really good argument, and it's a really good debate because you're like, well, yeah, he's right. Every time the Joker comes out, he keeps killing him. Yeah, remember, if he just killed the Joker, then, Barbara Gordon wouldn't be paralyzed, and a whole bunch of people wouldn't be dead. And if you look at Injustice, Superman's unborn child and city and wife would not be dead. And that's why he killed him straight up. But the show really dives into that, and it's really good. And this thing, it's got a lot of serious tones to it as well. Dealing with the fact that John Cena's character, he will hold up peace. It doesn't matter how many women, child, or bloke they have to kill, he will do it. However, there was a really good moment where he said he will do it if he has a solid reason why it's happening. Because in one of the episodes, he has to kill kids. But they're not giving the full information why. He just knows he has to kill him. He's like, that's not a good enough reason. You have to tell me. So he couldn't do it. But Vigilante did. He was like, just tapped in the shoulder. He's like, don't worry, buddy. I got this. And that's one of the reasons why it's funny. So it's dealing with that, definitely, what the line of when you should kill someone, obviously, you should never kill kids, but, it's become pointless if there's no reason behind it, hold up peace. But one of those very strong, serious points is also the fact that, Peacemaker's relationship with his dad, because his dad's racist, doesn't really like him, trained to be a killer when he was a kid, and you could tell the tension. So you definitely feel that, and he just wants, him to love him, but obviously he doesn't. But that's every time they're in the room that you can feel the tension and feel how much he does not like him. It feels like he's a pansy. So the show overall, I'm loving it so far. It has my curiosity. It's funny. So far it's good. 8 episodes, so currently at the halfway mark. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the last 4. They have not announced the season 2. So I'm very interested to see where this is going to lead, and will obviously Peacemaker last the end, and will he appear in more DC movies? Like, is he going to pop up? Because obviously John Cena is a massive actor. So where that's going to go, that's going to be really curious to see. So all 4, Peacemaker, so far so good. Definitely go check it out and let me know what your thoughts are. And moving on to episode 4 of Boba Fett. So, Boba Fett, CGI, outstanding as always, thanks to LucasArts. So in this particular episode, this is the last bit of flashbacks we get from Boba, because the fact that we see him getting his ship, and how this actually, time lapse over the Mandalorian, because you can actually see where the crossover happens between the two between the two shows in this particular one. And this is the last episode, which I'm sure will be the last episode with flashbacks, which you can very tell from the ending. This is where it's going to go. So performance-wise, all fantastic. This show still kind of not a lot happened, but at the same time, it's keeping me intrigued. It's keeping me a lot more intrigued than what episode 1 did. So obviously we see him want to get his ship back. That entire mission, CGI and all of that was fantastic. And you see him get his ship and kill the bike riders that kill the Tusken Raiders. Great scene. Loved it. And we also see he tries to go to the Sarlacc pit as well, trying to get back his armor, which we know was taken by the... I can't remember that. And that weird triangle, giant car. God, I can't remember what they're called now. It was just on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, we know where his arm is gone. And the fact we also see how he met Finnick and how he saved her, how get all the parts and everything because the cyborgs. Yes, really weird seeing cyborgs in Star Wars. But yes, how he saved Finnick on the desert when she got shot in The Mandalorian. It's because there was actually a guy on TikTok who actually overlapped the scene so you can see how it all fits. And you see how he figured out where the fact she was because of the shots in the sky because they were trying to blind her from killing the Mandalorian, killing Mando, our hero and savior. And from all that, he does have that sit down with all of the crime lords, over Moss, and the fact that they all do agree to stand by him as this war is coming. So overall, solid episode, a lot of good action in this. CGI was good, and the fact that the very last bit was the fact that I really hope this is going to happen. I really hope is the fact that he said, Boba's like we're going to have to prepare for war. We need muscle. It's not about coin. And Finnick's like you can definitely buy muscle. You can definitely do that. And then right down here, Mando's theme go off, and you're like, oh my god. So there's only 2 episodes left, so this is obviously a 6-part series. And the fact that what are we going to get, and who's going to appear more. I really hope Mando does pop up because that'd just be fantastic. And there's no more flashbacks now, so this is all moving forward. So this should be a little bit interesting. So we know how Boba Fett survived. And the fact that how he met Finnick, how we got to this point. So the next 2, which I really do hope, the next 2 episodes are going to be full force and non-stop action. Come on. Let's see the ruthless Boba Fett. Let's see Finnick and Caricitin, far out. I can't say his name. The tall black Wookiee, obviously. Let's see him in full force, and let's have Mando. And still, what other muscle people are they going to bring in? Like, how are we going to see any more from Empire Strikes Back when Darth Vader was talking to all the bounty hunters? Are we going to see any of them return? So it's going to be really interesting to see what these next 2 episodes for. I will admit, I'm more excited because of the ending of episode 4. I'm more excited for Boba Fett than I am for Peacemaker. Like, I'm enjoying Peacemaker, but Boba Fett, my interest for this has definitely peaked up. Obviously not to the same level as what Mandalorian was each episode, but still, I think they've got their groove now. So this is the part where you get excited, like, come on guys, it's kicked in. Let's go. So I really hope you guys are enjoying Boba Fett. I have seen a lot of hate for this, and I don't know why, because I'm like, you can still enjoy it. It's not that bad. If you want to see Star Wars that bad, go watch the sequel trilogy. Go on, watch that. Oh, you don't want to watch it? I wonder why. Nobody wants to watch it. They're all terrible, except for The Force Awakens. I think that has so much hope. Then the other 2 just gone. Just quite disappointing in the entire trilogy, which is why we have these TV shows. So Boba Fett, definitely up and at 'em, definitely enjoying. I also love the fact that there is a General Grievous basically nod to, because as they're going through as they're going through the palace to get Boba's ship, they go through the lunchroom, and there's a cooking robot that does the whole spinning thing, and I'm a little as General Grievous did, and Revenge of the Sith. And I love the fact that I've seen on TikTok of people putting, "Hello there," or General Kenobi, are you hungry? I'm loving those TikToks. And I do love those moments where the fact that Star Wars does put a nod to something. I know what the fans will really like, or what big fans will know, small little details like that, which, both to its credit, both Mandalorian and Boba Fett have immense detail to it. And you can tell, there is so much love that's gone into this. Even if you don't like the show, you've got to appreciate the love that's gone into these shows. And of course, Boba Fett, for obvious reasons. Also, definitely Boba Fett. Loving it. Keep going. Obviously, Peacemaker. Also, in the past week, I watched a movie called Donnie Darko. It's only, obviously the first time I ever watched it because I got recommended by two mates saying, why haven't you watched it? It's definitely up your alley. I was like, all right, I'll watch it. That is a interesting film. I'd never seen it before, and I was following it along, and like, this is kind of creepy, kind of cool. And the ending, I was definitely like, what just happened? And obviously after that, I had to Google research and find out what the hell happened, because that is a very interesting film, and a lot of people need to go. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch Donnie Darko. It definitely piqued my curiosity. It's definitely a mind one, so you definitely got to keep a notice of everything that's going on. And the ending is just, you're like, what? Okay. And apparently the original director and writer of the movie is definitely looking at making a sequel, so I'm very interested in seeing what he's going to do with that. But Donnie Darko, that was a good choice I got recommended, and holy shit, was not expecting half the stuff, and very curious. Very interesting. It had same kind of vibes as Moon Knight. No joke. Definitely with the split personality, the sleeping problem. Definitely in both of them doing the Rubik's Cube at the start. In bed, same thing as well. Small quick review, Donnie Darko. Definitely go check that out. So guys, look, I really hope you guys got a lot of content out there. It was a big episode, I know, and if you're still listening to this point, I thank you and I appreciate you. Are the true people, and you're the reason why I do this. And look guys, please always like, share, all the fun stuff, and definitely go check out the YouTube. And until next time,
thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.